We about to get into this rap jury. Remember, the albums for this week were Flatline Izzy, Landlord Living the Local, ASAP Ferg, Still Striving, the 14-track EP. We're still questioning on what the definition of the EP is right now. And XX Temptation 17, which we're going to have a conversation. I don't know what we're going to do about this album because it wasn't proposed to me that it was an alternative rock album until about 3 or 4 days ago when I tried to listen to it. So it was way too late to switch the album. We're going to talk about it because somehow he's a XXL freshman. But we hear it right now. But yeah, like I said, we about to do these rap jury. We're about to get into it, get in depth with it. Got about an hour on these 3 albums, so we about to hear it go. I think we're going to start off with XX just because I need to get past this. I'm gonna let you roll with your half of this, James. Go ahead and get your whole. Cause
XXX. So you start out. I didn't even know how long it was. So you just go ahead and you listen to it. And you're like, oh, it's already done. But that's not the actually first thing you actually think about. It's what am I actually listening to? And I pretty much formulated that this is like the 5 stages of grief in 20 minutes. So this is what you're actually getting. He said before, in an interview with XXL, that he wanted to do more alternative music, not just rap. So I understand, but
that was basically what we got. It's 10 songs. Some of the wildest names for tracks ever, all solo. I have a picture of one of the track lists where it's written on his arm. It's. I know there was a publicity stunt where there was a video or a picture of him hanging himself going around for a couple of days where he had to come out and say that was his joke. People don't joke like that, but I do know he has a really depressing backstory. I know Jocelyn Floors, the first track is about his friend who's died. But the thing about this is I don't know what any of these lyrics mean. Actually, my roommate had to told me you probably need to listen to this with the lyrics. Instead of listening to what I usually do is go on YouTube and just listen to the album in the album sense on YouTube. But I had to actually go find the tracks for lyric videos. So I had to hear what he was saying. And then it got weirder. It got really depressing because I actually don't think it. The thing is, because I was listening to it, this would be really depressing only if you're reading the lyrics while listening to the songs. Because sometimes I don't actually know what he's saying. But saying that, knowing what he's saying, when I went down and got to these lyrics in this, I'm like, oh no. This probably should be an album where people who are 17 and older should only be able to you should have a full grasp of your mental mind state before you listen to some shit like this. Because if you listen to this and there's even an ounce of you that says that life isn't worth it, you're probably going to kill yourself by track 8.
Yeah.
And it's only a 22-minute album with 10 tracks.
So that's probably 12 minutes in.
So I'm just saying this. I don't have, and it's not even bad because I don't know what to consider this, man.
I don't know.
It's not rap, it's not R&B. He's right. It's alternative, but it's almost every track is acoustic.
There's acoustic guitar, and then there's there's about 2 or 3 like that, and then there's 2
there's
or 3
with
there
somewhere too.
Yeah, and then there's one that's just acoustic piano, and then goes like that.
But it's the one thing I'll give it to him is it all runs smoothly through, which is where I'm confused because I couldn't even tell you how I feel about these tracks. Because there's some points where I'm listening to this. I tried to listen to this 3 separate occasions. And I don't notice when the tracks are switching. Which I guess some artists, that's a good thing. But when your album's only 22 minutes long and I'm trying to review it for 10 tracks, I'm lost to where some of these tracks are. I give it to them. Probably the only track that I actually can say I was able to grasp to a point where I knew what the track was. Everybody Dies in Their Nightmares.
Yeah,
that was probably the best song there. But again, I forget how long that song was. Again, all these songs
are
short.
2 minutes and 43 seconds.
So that was the second longest song. The longest song was 2:44.
I don't know.
Orlando was okay. Fuck Love was terrible. Trippie Reed can't sing. I think that was Trippie Reed singing. Like I said, man, this is what y'all wanted. Y'all wanted XX. Y'all got XX. I hope that cause again, James says he has an actual number and top songs and stuff for this. I don't. Like I said,
I would say it was his hit. That was his the premiere song or whatever. It was Everybody Dies. So I mean that's the one that that's what he was trying to sell the album with, which is all right, but I don't know. It was an okay song.
Yeah, I gotta back up. So yeah. Like this is, and I'm gonna say this because this is gonna be quick. 10 tracks or 11 tracks, because I forgot about the intro, which is 51 seconds, which is
just him talking.
Yeah. With the intro is barely the shortest thing. So the intro 51 seconds, Jocelyn 4 is 159, Depression and Obsession 225. Everybody Dies in Your Nightmares, which is my favorite track, is 135.
Oh, 135. Oh, I'm sorry. Damn.
Revenge is 2 minutes. Save Me is 243. Dead Inside Interlude is 127. Fuck Love is 227. Carry On is 210. Orlando is 244. And Ayola is 140. And it equals 22 minutes and 1 second.
Just got that second ever.
Oh, and this is what it says on Wikipedia. Again, like I say, if you go to school, do not use Wikipedia to do your notes and stuff like for real. But this stuff is usually pretty accurate when it comes to music, unless somebody really doesn't like you and wants your music career to look really bad, aka Meek Mills. No, I'm not. They put Meek Mill's death date on Wikipedia once after the Drake diss. But I'm saying this is what it says for the genre on Wikipedia: alternative R&B, indie rock, emo. I call it SoundCloud because this is the first full album review I've done of a SoundCloud rapper, like somebody who's fully famous on SoundCloud.
He has like 4 million songs played or something, or 400 million or something like that.
And from what I understand, he is like the wave of what SoundCloud sounds like today. Yeah, so I'm going to call this the SoundCloud genre, but I'm not sure if this is the rap genre.
Is he the final boss, the king?
I don't know about. I mean, the king is technically, I would say, Chance, because Chance is trying to save it, but I don't. I guess because I remember because when we did the first Chance review, we had to like postpone it because we weren't sure if that was a fully rap album. So yeah, we're in the same world. Saying that, this is what I'm telling you. If it is an alternative rock album, I'm giving it a 2. If it is a rap and R&B album, I'm disqualifying it.
It's disqualified. It's completely.
But this is called the rap jury. I don't know what to tell you. Because again, or a 0, I could give it a 0 because I'm not going to give it a negative because it doesn't hurt my ears. When you get a negative, you hurt my ears. And this was not like it's not something I'm never going to listen to this again. And I'd be shocked if somebody put it on. But if somebody put it on in the whip and they told me they honestly like this, I couldn't tell you that I have a grievance to tell them to turn it off. If I give an album a negative, I never want to hear it again. I don't want to hear the music ever again. -1 or 5. So
you have to tell them what it is. Like this could be career ending or career boosting. Is this qualified or is this a 0?
This could be career boosting to him because he's going outside of rap, and that usually means good for people if it's good. And again, in some senses, I gave it a 2 in the alternative rock sense. It's okay. Like I said, it's very depressing. The fact that it's depressing doesn't mean that it's bad. It's just highly depressing.
It's very depressing, yeah.
Again, this is not terrible music. Like it's still music and it's still art. Like I'm not saying this isn't music and I'm not saying this isn't art. It's just this wasn't what I thought I was getting into, which I didn't know what I was getting into, but it sure as hell wasn't this. Like this is the same dude that I've been calling XX knocked out for the last 2 weeks. The dude is beefing with everybody because this don't sound like some dude that's ready to beef. It sounds like somebody that's about to go get a fucking song.
No, he made this song because of you just ripping on him so much. Like this is depression. Goddamn, like that.
Get your.
I'm gonna give it.
All right, well, we're gonna wrap this one. We'll get your end of this.
I'll give him a 1. No,
we'll tell
0.5.
Okay, we'll figure out. Well, since you had songs that you liked and disliked.
Dislike Orlando was terrible. I didn't like that. Explanation. Don't even talk. What was that? 51 seconds of you talking like that. You're mumbling. This is like.
That's one of the only reasons to get past 20 minutes.
Yeah. That really was one of them. And then Dead Inside, that wasn't any good. I don't know. Like I said, it felt like you were going through like all the stages of grief. Like,
I feel like we're getting to this point because people want to make it easier to get songs on the radio. Because I feel like we're getting to this point where the shorter the song, the better it is to get it on the radio and played more. I guess so. Again, if you're gonna
consider a song,
but how much was that?
I heard you say 157 for a song, and then I heard you say 147 for an album. Like that's what I heard clearly. I'm not saying
no.
That's what I heard.
No, this is what it is. The introduction, the talking is 51 seconds. The song that's my favorite track is 135. The interlude is 127.
It's 135.
And I mean, that's the only one called an interlude. Like everything else is an interlude.
Oh, and the last song is called an outro, which is 140, which is longer than the 135 track. Because I think when you call something an outro, that I don't expect it to be a full track.
Yeah, that could be outro could be anything,
right.
Intro could be anything. Interlude could be anything.
Yeah.
Right.
A track.
But the outro is longer than the 135 track. So do you see where like I'm in this place? Like I said, even if you heard it, like I said, the songs aren't rap songs. But even if they weren't rap songs, I have a hard time digesting songs that seem like just demos. That's the other thing. These seems like just demos. Most of these tracks are one verse.
Yeah.
Like I don't know where I don't know how to judge this. These aren't like these to me. These aren't even cohesively full songs. Again, longest track 243. Or no, my bad. Longest track is 244. Second longest track is 243. Then it drops down to like 227 and 210, and everything else is less than that, and less than 2 minutes after that. So there's 4 tracks out of the 10 songs that are longer than 2 minutes, and everything else is less than 2 minutes.
So do you want to do another one of these albums? Do you want to do another XX?
I will give them a retry if the next album is classified as like a rap. What I'm going to do next time is like I'm going to listen to like 1 or 2 tracks and start making decisions on reviewing albums. Because I decided to jump on this because he was a XXL freshman, and I thought all the freshmen do need to get reviewed. Like all the legends and stuff will get reviewed dropping albums, like we did Jay. But the freshmen are what I consider what kids and teenagers and college students are listening to. So if this like I need feedback from our fans. Who's listening to this, man? Again,
do you like this album? Like, what do you qualify this as? Like, you know.
Again, it's not bad to my ears. Because this is rap jury and this is not alternative rock jury, I'm giving it a 0. Like I said, if it was an alternative rock album to all my rock fans out there, go ahead and it's a 2 if you might like it. But if you don't like alternative rock and you wanted to listen to a rap album or even somewhat like an 808s or R&B album, this ain't for you. I'm just letting y'all know that straight. What are you giving it?
0.5.
0.5.
I'm giving a little bit some love.
Again, it's not bad to my ears. Like I said, if you're an open-minded person when it comes to music, you might be okay with this. Like I said, I'm okay with it because I'm open-minded about music. But again, this is way more than rap and R&B, and this is way more than his persona shows. I do respect it. I respect his choice. Like I said, it wasn't like it's an acoustic rock album basically. Like, so there's maybe 2 tracks with actual 808 bass, not like a bass guitar. Yeah, like I said, this one stumped me, man. Like I've had reviews where I thought albums were bad, but they were still rap albums. Troy Ave and Meek Mills were still rap albums. They were just bad rap albums. Like they're albums, they're still rap, they're still hip hop. You can't disrespect that this is still the genre and the culture. They just want good. This isn't hip hop. This isn't the culture. This is what he wanted to make. Cool. This is like Kid Cudi rock albums to me. That's actually the closest thing I can subscribe to this is. If you ever listen to the Wizard album, which is Kid Cudi and Dot the Genius's rock group, or Speeding Past Kid Cudi rock album that was like 2-3 years ago, that's what the closest things I can give you is a rapper making rock music, but it's still rock music. I don't count Wayne's Rebirth because that wasn't really a rock album. That was like a smorgasbord. Giving that to you. So what, you said 0.5, I said 0, so it's some weird
0.25.
Yeah. Again, it's not even disrespect. It's just like an idea like rap albums. This is a 0. It's not a rap album. It's not.
He had some says that's why I'm
giving. There's verses, but these weren't bars. This was him repeating and chanting shit over and over in a verse-like state.
0.5.
Again, it was I guess because I never got into the point where it was like, oh, I got to listen to a second verse of this. I guess that's the reason why it's not bad. Because it's not bad because it wasn't like I had to listen to 4 minutes of. Because I believe if any of these tracks were 4 minutes, I'd be cussing him out right now. So that is probably a part of this too. Because I don't think I could listen to. Let me see. Jocelyn Florence was the only track where I'm like, it could have been longer and I could have lived with it. Because I don't even know if Everybody Dies in Their Nightmares could have been a 4-minute track.
If he maybe dropped some.
I think, like I said, Fuck Love was too long. That was 2:27. That's the only track. It's not 2 definitives. That Jocelyn Foreign and Everybody Dies in My Nightmares were cool tracks, and that I definitely don't ever want to listen to Fuck Love again. Everything else is just whatever. XX is produced. He produces, or at least puts bangs on tables and stuff, and loops it until it's a minute long.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. We're gonna switch over to ASAP Ferg. Still Strapping. A$AP Ferg is one of the many members of the A$AP mob. This is his second full-length album. Actually, no, his third. Well, no, this is an EP. Sorry, this is the 14-track EP. Yeah. One day I'm gonna jump on the Detour show, and Malachi is gonna sit down and give me the school definition of what an album, EP, LP, and all those other things are, because I'm lost now. And mixtape, and maxi singles and all that stuff. It's like we've lost the Oxford Dictionary term of an EP is. But again, never was an A$AP Ferg fan. It wasn't even like I didn't like him. I just didn't care. I've listened to a little bit of material. I've listened to probably one whole album once. You know what really got me? Is I didn't like his first couple singles. I never was into Shabba. I was never into Work. Like the songs that were on Trap.
The Work remix. No.
I was never into any of A$AP Ferg's initial hit songs that got him famous. So I basically walked away at that point. Saying that, this was refreshing. It wasn't, so this is, they're counting this, well, yeah. This was still refreshing, like I said. It was refreshing in the idea that this is the only mainstream rap album, like I said, we reviewed this week. Starts off with a couple, sorry, I was looking at the wrong track list, but yeah. Yeah, like I said, we're still here, like I said, still striving. The first track on there was the, what was it? The
Meek Mill.
Meek Mill's featured Trap and Dreams, which I like it as a song. I don't think it should have been on A$AP Ferg's album. It either should have been on a mixtape or Meek Mill's mixtape, especially when they got the Trap and the Dream part of it. But it was.
There's what you said, 14. So there's actually 2 songs or 3 songs that are really his, like just by himself. I'm pretty sure.
No, because when you first hit me up and told me there were 3 solo tracks, which again I don't care. I like features a lot sometimes. I told you there's some people like 21 Savage needed more features, and nobody probably would have got a higher review. Saying that, no, 3 fully solo tracks, because Tango, even though it doesn't have a feature on it, there's somebody singing on the hook that's not named A$AP Ferg. I don't think it was a sample. Saying that, you're right. Almost every track. Let's shout out to the features. Let's give a quick rundown of all the features. And there's 2 remixes too. Mills, Cameron, Davies, Lil Yachty, Nav, Famous Dex, Playboy Cardi, 2/3 of the Migos. Even though they just labeled it Migos, there's no offset. I mean, there's no takeoff anywhere. Mattress remix that features.
Wait. I think Takeoff was on there. No, I thought it was Offset. It
okay, but one of them. There's only one of the 2 niggas that's not named Quavo that has a verse, and Quavo is doing basically ad libs. Is what I'm calling that. The Mattress remix features A$AP Rocky, Famous Dex, Rich the Kid, and Playboy Cardi, which was not good to me. And Savage, Made in Toledo's featured on that. And then there's the East Coast remix that has Snoop, A$AP Rocky, Rick Ross, French Montana, Busta Rhymes, and
which you wait. I just want to like, is Snoop really should be allowed on this?
Snoop shouldn't have been on the One Blood remix. We just let Snoop do whatever he wants at this point. Years ago, so yeah.
I don't know. I'm cool with it, but
so this is where it's hard to solidify this as an album to me, because it's hard for me to see remixes on your album but not the original versions. Like, why weren't the original version? I never heard Mattress. I did hear the original East Coast with Remy before, but I never heard the original Mattress. I don't know what Mattress was about before this. Saying that, again, this is a hip hop album. So are you saying that you have an issue with the amount of features?
No. I'm just saying, like, that's why I'm assuming that's why he's calling it an EP, because he only did 3-4 songs himself. Like, I'm maybe like kind of including the remixes too, kind of.
No, because I know what those are considered, and that's like a completion album or a contemplation album, whatever they call it, where it's like a group album. Like when there's a name for an album where you're physically, purposely just doing an album to have all the features and just do. It starts with a C. I never fully had to pronounce it out loud before, but it's like a compilation album. A compilation album. That's what it is. Yeah. Compilation album. If you want the name of a compilation album, there's a way to do that, and that's legal, and we review that. But that's not an EP.
Like, this was like Ferg and Friends. That's what it would be called. I don't know.
Yeah, like, no, technically it's basically like, remember the Chance album with like the Donnie Trumpet? That's what that is. Or DJ Khaled album is technically a compilation album too.
Okay.
I know Tech Nine I always like when artists, because you know what the thing about Rubber Band Man to me is that almost every song on this album, even though it might not be true, almost every song sounds like they did the features, they all sound like they were in the studio.
Yeah, they were definitely like every single song. I think they had to work together because I know they're shouting out each other. Like he shouts out like Nav at one time.
Yeah,
he shouts out
XO.
Yachty. I believe he shouts out. I don't know if he shouts out Dex. Maybe Cardi, Playboy Cardi. I think he does.
Yeah, and again, there's a lot of features on here that I was worried about.
Yeah.
Saying that, my biggest worry was a little Yachty. Oh yeah, is one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, it's good.
Like I will give it to this. Before this, the only other tracks I ever liked Lil Yachty was Broccoli and One Night Stand. Those are the only two tracks I ever heard from Lil Yachty where I was like, all right, I can listen to these and I'm not going to be embarrassed. I can add Oh Yeah to that. No, because Lil Yachty is like the death to rap to me. Like that's whenever I heard Nas talk about hip hop is dead, I thought Lil Yachty was the poster child to that.
Yeah, he was there.
But yeah, that was one of the best tracks to me. On the flip side, What Do You Do is the featuring with Nav, the EXO with the Weekend sign. I'm over this nigga, man. Yeah. First thing, like he had to stop saying the N-word because he's like South Asian and people figured that out. Even though we still letting DJ Khaled slide. Just letting y'all know. That one was terrible. It's another one of those like singy song. Like he's first thing again, how do you steal Drake's flow when all Drake does is still flows? So that's weird to me.
Yo.
Same thing with Coach Carter. Even though it was ASAP wasn't bad, but Famous Dex is terrible. Just sorry. And it's like a line of songs. So between 5 to 7, I'm not into it. I'm not into Made Man featuring Playboy Cardi, even though Made Man I think is the one that has the Slop on My Knob sample. Or is that Plain Jane?
That's Plain Jane.
Plain Jane, the song, one of the only other solo tracks that has a Slop on My Knob sample. I let it roll, but I ain't into it. Hands down, the worst song on the album, it might be one of the worst songs of 2017, is Nasty, Who Dat, featuring Migos, where he completely hijacks and destroys one of the better rap songs of all time to make this track. I gotta find what the fuck the sample on this track was, but because Malachi will be pissed. Like, have you listened to the track Nasty by A$AP Ferg and Migos yet?
No.
2/3 Amigos.
Well, yeah, barely 2/3 Amigos on that. But no, yeah, Nasty. My phone's not letting me go anywhere. I'm fucking pissed because I need to see the sample on this. But there's a sample on this track which is just god awful. How did you feel about Nasty? Watch, I don't look for this real quick.
I don't know. I wasn't really feeling it. I think Quavo had maybe. I think he said 8 words. Maybe. I thought he said a little more, maybe. But no, yet Takeoff was he was left off the track, I think. If I'm not mistaken. No, Offset. Offset was Offset.
Well, somebody's left off.
He was left off the set.
All we know is when there's a Migos feature, we know that Quavo is going to be there. So.
Yeah, Quavo has to be there. If it's
Yeah, who that? Yeah, what was the original?
That was Who Dat?
Juicy?
No.
Yeah, but that's a sample of the track, and he destroys it. Thank you so much, Malachi. Because I was brain farted like hell about who's the original person who did Who Dat.
I got you. Give me a second.
But yeah, like I said, he destroyed. Again, he really does run with this thing that he's from the late '90s, early 2000s. That was his part. And he runs with that with a lot of the samples. Like I said, Slop on My Knob is on there. JT Money. Okay, that's because that was like a one-hit wonder, wasn't it? Yeah. That's like me. Yeah, you want to play the original version? Yeah, the original version. Yeah, but with A$AP, first thing, Ferg is out here with this terrible. He takes Quavo's auto tune and he tries to run with it. It doesn't work. No. Then, what you said? Who's the Migo that raps?
Migo, it would be Takeoff.
Takeoff has a verse where Quavo ad-libs, and it's not that great. And then A$AP Ferg comes back and tries to do his same shit. And again, it's just a terrible fucking song. This is one of the ones where I'm like, you never should have did this. And no, none of y'all. Like, I'm at this point where Quavo is like the group version of Snoop, where they just don't know where to say no to a feature. Like, they don't say no to features.
They've literally done.
I figured that out.
15, 20 features this year.
Yeah, because we're at the point where they're doing fucking remakes of Who Dat, and they just did the fucking song with Sean Paul like 2 months ago with no hair. Sean Paul ain't got no hair. So no, like that song was fucking trash. After that, like I said, the mattress remix. You know why I know I don't really fuck with it? Because I like remixes, and that is not a good song to me. I didn't really, like I said, I never heard the original one, so that might be my fault. But I shouldn't have to. It should have been on the album. If you like, why am I listening to remixes on albums? I love remixes. Remixes are my thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I'm listening to remixes on albums. And until somebody explains that part to me, I am lost. On the other half, I do fuck really heavy with the East Coast remix. The East Coast remix is good.
Oh, other than French Montana, that's my opinion.
I didn't have that much problem with French Montana because he's recycling in the same verses for the last 5 years.
That's all he's been doing. Why are we still buying this stuff?
Also, even though I know it's in the East, you have a problem with Snoop. Do you not have the same problem with Rick Ross?
Where's Rick Ross from?
Miami.
That's still the East Coast.
Yeah, but
it's called East Coast or East. What?
It's East Coast.
East Coast. Oh, that's all the way down the East Coast.
All right, I'm just saying. I remember we gotta remember Snoop had the Dog Pound had a song called New York, New York. Even though it was low key, like was it a low key diss track?
They said it wasn't a diss track when it first came out. The video turned into a diss track after they made LA.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was more of a pay homage to the old school New York, the City of Dreams type.
Yeah.
Snoop just a fan of hip hop.
Okay.
It turned into West Coast time on New York, and Nori was first big hit, like really, like was the LA.
Then after that, it's Nando's and Tangos, where I figured out that we have different takes on this. I'm into both of them. I like Nando's and I like Tango, even though Tango is the last track. It has some R&B singer on it I've never heard of named Kenobi. It's Kenobi, but they have extra letters. It's Kanobby. Not a lot of, yeah. And then again, Plain Jane has a Slob on Knob sample, which is okay. It's like the first 3 bars, but it doesn't change much. The songs is not, Plain Jane was Plain Jane to me.
It was good. I liked it. It had more. It got real vibey. I don't know.
After that,
it was a pretty good song. I'll say that.
But again, I think the album, and you know what the good thing about this ASAP Ferg album is, and I mean I have to go back and check, but I don't think I've said this about every album or almost any album outside of like Dame. The first song and the last songs are good, even though I don't think the first song should have been the first song because it sounds like it could have been on Meek's album. They're both good tracks. The opener is a good track. The ending track is a good track. Now, what happens in between? It's up for interpretation. One track I didn't speak of because I basically talked about every track very shortly. One Night Savage is probably one of my favorite tracks featuring Maiden Toyo. Maiden Toyo, I've been hearing more about him. I know he's another one of the freshmen. He's the freshman since I've been getting these features recently on almost every other album review. I'm having hope. Having hope that because we're going to review his album in like a week or two, where I think this is not going to be as a rough listen. Saying that, again, this is my first full listen of ASAP Ferg album on purpose, or at least for a purpose, because I didn't, like I said, the other ones I've listened to, but it weren't like I was dissecting them. I think this is a decent album. Shout out to Honorable C Note on Mad Men, even though it's not one of my favorite songs. Honorable C Note be out here making the YouTube videos for the GTA and like all that stuff that I'd be watching and stuff. So that's definitely one of the news I'm happy to see. Like I said, this is not the greatest, it's not the worst, but a tip hop. I could definitely say tip hop.
This was
saying that
I think it was a decent Ferg album.
I know this is decent. Like I said, I'm not mad about this. Again, I think some songs could be better. I think some songs could be worse. I think there could have been features that could have been left away. Like I said, the biggest hurt or 5 through 7, and actually I think 5 through 9. So it's 14 songs. 5 through 9 is like 4 tracks. I have 4 tracks where I'm like, I really owe them a 5 because I don't like Mattress. So I'm still going to give it a 3. I'm going to give it a 3. I'm going to tell y'all that my top 3 songs are from 3 to the top is will be All Yes, number 3, featuring Lil Yachty. Again, that Lil Yachty track is pretty fire. I'm not going to stun on y'all about that. Number 2 is Tango. Tango is the track where he talks about his family and his life a little bit. Like we get an introspective Ferg for a little bit. And I was never really planning or used to hearing an introspective Ferg. Then my favorite track is One Night Savage featuring Maiden Toyo. It's just a banger to me. It's one of them banger type tracks to me. Honorable mentions go to East Coast, remix. It was just really hard for me to put a remix into my top 10. And Trapping a Dream. Olympian by featuring Dave East was cool, but it wasn't one of my favorite. Dave East is like a street Nas to me, so it's just not. Wasn't a big Nas person, and I'm getting a streeter Nas. Like, again, Nas is a legend. It's not somebody I listen to on a day-to-day basis. Almost forgot. Got to give you those top 3 worst. The top 3 worst tracks on the album for me were What Do You Do in number 3 featuring Nav. Then I got to go Rubber Man featuring Cam. Like I said, that one was just not appealing to me. And then the worst was Nasty Who Dat. And again, that might be one of the worst songs of 2017. It might be the worst songs of this decade. Like, it's one of the worst remakes ever. Like, I hope the guy, because I think that he was a one-hit wonder. Whoever made the original track needs to get paid off of this heavy, because they just destroyed his track and his legacy. Saying that, how do you your number and your tops, James?
So I would say, so we've got the top. I have for 3 Madman, with Playboy Cardi. So that was 3. 2 Rubber Band Man. I really like that with Cameron. And Plain Jane was number 1 for me. So I like those. And then going over to the terrible ones, I would say 3 What Do You Do? Number 2 Nados, and then Nasty would definitely be on the top 1. Like Quavo, whenever Quavo was like, he's like, you know, they always talk about Fight Night. That's all they, because that's one of their like big tracks, and he's like, oh, get knocked out, put the meat on the face, and then like Takeoff comes out. He's like, and you don't forget the steak sauce. I'm like, oh, I was like, I don't know about that. I don't know. I just didn't really feel that. I didn't really feel that.
I know there was nothing about that. Like I said, that song was atrociously bad. And then you know what the thing is, people, if you know me, I was really, really hard on the whatever the first album Migos did, and they got dropped from the label and all that. That first album to me was terrible. Migos is brilliant since Versace, because I hated Versace and all that stuff. But no, like I said, somebody got to get them to them and tell them to pick and choose their features. Between this and that Katy Perry song they did recently, they are getting some bad features, man. Again, still waiting for that solo Quavo and Travis Scott. The rest of y'all niggas have a good life.
Yo.
Again, y'all two seem to be giving credit to the other parts of the Migos, man. Again, I am not into them other niggas on the Migos. Quavo's is Michael, and the rest of them niggas is a mix between Tito and Jermaine.
Yeah.
Without Offset and Bad Bougie this year, I think Bad Bougie was like the biggest this year. And that was basically Offset. Now I can understand Takeoff not being on it, so I can't argue him. But that's Offset jam. I think that's like their highest jam of this.
Okay, and I can see that. But like I said, again, Ferg gets a 3, solid. Again, it's hip hop. It doesn't take anything away from hip hop. To me, it's just, again, my best thing to say about Ferg is he's like an East Coast 2 Chainz to me, where he's kind of funny. I'm just not into it. And again, he has this retro aspect to him that I like. He kind of also reminds me a little bit of Craig Mack. Like I said, he reminds me of these artists he tries to be more of a 90s artist of now, and I like it. Again, he's just not somebody I'm out here listening to on purpose, and he's still the number 2 on the ASAP Mob chart to me. So
I think I'm gonna give it a 4. I really liked it.
Did you say your top 3 worst?
Top 3 worst, yeah. I said Nasty was the worst, and that's why I said you don't forget about the steak sauce.
I mean, if you give me some steak, I need some steak sauce. So hey.
No, what's it? No, I'll give it a 4. I think like if you like any of these newer people or anybody he really had a song with, you could just take it and be like, oh, I can put this on my part of my list, because Ferg puts out, and then I think everyone individually puts they worked together on this track together. Like I think they were all in the studio, they knew what the beat was going on, they all knew everything was going down. So it wasn't like we're like, oh hey, like you record this and we'll just put this all together. Like Ferg put everybody together, and I think it sounds pretty good, and I think everybody should be Like if you want something that Ferg would like Nav or even Meek Mill, if you like Meek, and that was a good song. So you're not gonna be disappointed. So that's why for Ferg, I'm not saying like for what this is, I'm giving it a 4. Like an EP, if this is what you're considering an EP.
Yeah, what EPs are to me are very skewed, and we're gonna have a school lesson on that one day. It's gonna be
the third album is
we're about to get into our third album pretty soon.
Landlord Living with Flatline Izzy.
Our third album is gonna be Flatline Izzy, Landlord Living, Pittsburgh local. Again, he's been coming up through the circuits through the city, and it's about to be, like I said, we're gonna end this one next. I'm into this. Like I said, it's our local guy of the week. Mm-hmm. Always like getting into this talent. But Flatline Izzy is definitely a interesting part of the city. This album starts off with one of my favorite tracks. This track is James Nightmares. Apparently,
it's just a little creepy. I'm not really fucking with like you intro with like kids singing, like the chanting, the Children of the Corn. Like it's like you know what's happening. But it does set a mood for your kind of this album, though. I mean, it does. I liked it. I'm just only gonna. I didn't really fuck with the kids, though. That's just not me.
Hey,
it was good, but
I mean, I fucked with it. It has one of those weird, like the kids are like chanting in like that mystical, ghostly chant.
Yeah.
And then the thing is, the running thing of the album, which has always been weird because the name of the album is a little weird to me, even though I fuck with it. Landlord Living. The first track is called "Here Comes Landlord," and it's like, I don't know. It's like the landlord is Candyman. And he's the landlord. It's like, I'm coming to get this cash. I don't know. I fuck with it though.
Yeah.
Saying that, it goes into probably one of the 2 worst tracks on the album. Number 2, Soldier. First thing, it's spelled Soldier with the SOULJA way, but he pronounces it in the song with an R. It annoys the shit out of me. Like, and then again, it's one of them songs where he's reusing the word a lot. It's just one of those. Shout out to Stevie B. He made the beat, but it's just one of the ones. Also, this is another one of the albums where most of the songs are pretty short. It's only 12 tracks. Most songs don't go past 3 minutes. Saying that, it's
we've got a couple other people, Pittsburgh people together on here. Hardo's on here.
Hardo, Jimmy Wappo.
Jimmy on there's twice. I think Quan Bands, right?
Yeah, Quan Bands is on.
I think he's not mentioned in another song. I feel like he's in another one. I could be mistaken.
Oh yeah, no, but Jimmy Wappo has 2 features on here. Yeah. Again, like I said, this is definitely shout out to Juggernaut, M. Tomlin. Quan Bands is featured on the other track, Rents to do with Jimmy Wappo. That's one of the best tracks on the album.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, there's only Soulja is really the only song. Soulja and Sauce. Soulja and Sauce are my 2 songs where I'm like, I don't need to hear those again. Like I said,
it was actually no, we forgot to mention Chevy Woods.
Oh, Chevy Woods. Chevy Woods' verse was okay, but it was like he took Wiz's flow to do the verse.
Yeah.
Which I have this understanding in my mind that he probably asked for a Wiz verse, and he was like, "You get the Chevy Woods verse. It sounds like me."
And that one was Sauce. Was it Sauce is Up or something? What?
It's just Sauce.
It's just Sauce. Okay.
But again, it's probably it's between Soulja and Sauce to me. And again, I guess it's because Chevy might save that one, so I'm gonna go Soulja. Also, what was the Dog Bitch? Dog Bitch is pretty bad. It's a misogynistic fuck a bitch song. I mean, this is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have an issue. It's just like, can't be really bumping that. You got to turn that down. Or
I mean, you can bump it if you about that life. You about that pimp fuck bitch's life. Like that's not. I mean, it's everybody got a lane, man. I ain't gonna sit here and say you can't bump it.
You can if you want to. I'm not.
But I'm not. I can't be out here just riding a dog bitch. This is not me. It's an interesting album because like doing the pre-show, me and James aren't. The 3 worst songs are really stand out and show the 3 worst songs. And I think it's like the last few albums, you tell we have differences between the what we think are the worst and best songs. The rest of this album, I could live without.
Oh no, I could live with this one. But this was one of his what would this be? Like one of the
repeat the same word all the time.
But
Mileage to me is the key single to me.
This is Mileage and I think those were both singles.
They both have videos.
But I don't think has a video, but the Rent Do has a video and Mileage has a video. So check those out.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, Rent Dude is the song featuring Jimmy Wapo and Quan
Well,
Bands.
Knowledge wasn't bad. I wouldn't put it as a top 10 though. I mean, like it wasn't my top 3.
It probably shouldn't have ended the album.
No.
Hands down, my favorite track is Street Knowledge. Again, Street Knowledge is basically an encyclopedia to how to handle the street. To me, it's an encyclopedia to how to handle Pittsburgh. But Street Knowledge to me is hands down the best track. I do also, like I said,
I like Let Me Vent. That was another good one.
Let Me Vent is definitely a dope track on here. Let Me Vent is him venting about his struggles and tribulations through growing up in Pittsburgh. Paxton is the Hardo track. I've noticed recently with the Pittsburgh albums I listen to that have Hardo features, I don't know what it is. Like this one was a little more energetic than some of the other ones, but I'm just not into these Hardo featured tracks. I don't know why. They're not always the best. And again, it's the early album, like those first 2 tracks to me after Here Comes the Landlord, like Soulja and Paxton's filler to me.
Yeah. It's
definitely just a little filler. Again, Jimmy Wapo on a track. There's the Amen joint with Jimmy Wapo, which is it's okay.
It's like, but that trap, I mean, that track alone, I feel like was made for Jimmy Wapo, like to be on there.
Yeah.
Like, so it's a decent one. It's not like it's not gonna be my top 3 though.
No, not at all. Like I said, not a top 3, but it's definitely these tracks are. I mean, like I said, my top 3 is pretty defined. I know what my top. Like I can tell you my top 3 right now. Rent's Due is 3. Let Me Vent's 2, and Street Knowledge is 1. Like I said, it wasn't a hard thing with this. Again, this is a good Pittsburgh album. This is another one of those ones where it's like it sounds early. Like I don't know his background on his album history, but I like what I hear from Flatline Missy. I like all the cadences, the spitting of all of it. Lyrically, he can jump back and forth between, like I said, Sauce to me isn't good, but the lyrics with Let Me Vent and Street Knowledge take me to a place where I'm like, this is vivid storytelling to me. Like Street Knowledge is a story, not a story in a sense, or not like I said, or a cookbook, the cookbook to the streets, where it's like he's telling you like, hey man, the one part where he's like, you can't judge that bitch if you don't know her body count and stuff like that. Where he's saying like he's basically telling you the real ins and outs of the street. Like you could be, or the one part where he's talking about when you pulled that shot. Now they got all the evidence and they're doing all this other stuff. Don't you? Now you double think about shooting the shot. Like he talks about all that in Street Knowledge. Like I said, he definitely understands real life. I understand. Like he might still talk about drugs and selling and doing all that stuff, but he understands the ramifications of his actions. Kind of gives me that old 80s, early 90s idea where like he's talking about this, but he's also telling you that there's consequences. Not a lot of people rap about the consequences of this lifestyle. He does very vividly on some of these tracks. And I respect it. Like I said, a lot of people just want to come out here and talk these guns and these drugs and don't want to talk about the consequences. Like in one part, I think in Street Knowledge, he talks about how some of these niggas can only pop a perk to shoot the pull shot. Like some of these dudes can't be out here shooting niggas sober. They can't handle it. And he talked about that again. This is but again, major down points like Dog Bitch, which is just misogynistic, fuck these hoes songs, like stuff that was cool back in '93. And again, Soulja is just another rough listening sauce. James, how's your feelings on this one?
This one, I liked it. So this is my second. Would this be the second? Yeah, this is our second Pittsburgh album. So this was a good one.
That was the third.
This is the third?
Jimmy Wapo and Guala.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah. All right, so that's right. 3. So yeah, this is not too bad. I mean, I like what I'm hearing. Other than Dog Bitch, yeah, that was a bit too much. Other than the kids, like I said, the kids in the first song, Landlord, Here Comes the Landlord was good, but I just don't fuck with. I mean, it did set the mood, so it kind of got you like it had
to me, that track would have been, if we go further, that would have been my 4th. Like that was one of those really standouts to me.
I would say no. I would say Street Knowledge for me is 4, and then Let Me Vent 3, and then Rent Due. That was with Jimmy Wapo and Quan Bands, and then I really like So
like I said, I can. The verses are okay, but like again, I've told y'all, Pittsburgh rappers have a hard time with hooks, and that was a terrible hook to me.
This wasn't like, I don't think it was like really a hook. It was just kind of like,
again, that's an issue to me. Like that dude, like that. Like you can even classify the idea that it might not even really been a hook. But like whatever that little reframe, hook, chorus, whatever you want to call it, bridge. I think it's more of a bridge. I'll give you that. It's probably a bridge. which I don't for your song to have a bridge, there needs to be a chorus. Like that's a real key to me. Like I was like, bridges aren't. There's a bridge is supposed to be a link between a chorus and a defining verse, not even just like a regular verse. Like there should be a reason that you have a bridge in your song. Sorry for getting to my technical. Again, this is why I do this because I've been listening to music like this for a long time. It's just I like to get my voice out now. But saying that again, shout out to the local producers Stevie B, M. Tomlin, J-Pad the Juggernaut out here. So yeah, like I said, there's a lot of local producers. Again, my top 3 worst will be still Dog Bitch, Sauce, Soulja, and my top 3 best will be My number 1 again, Street Knowledge. Number 2, Let Me Vent, and my 3 is Rent's Due featuring Quan Vance and Jimmy Wapo. So my album reviews, this is gonna be a 3.5. Again, the only 3 songs I truly didn't. Well, my only 3 songs I didn't like were my top 3 or my worst 3. And then again, I just don't love You Know. It's not terrible. Again, the verses are pretty dope on You Know. That hook is just god awful. But a 3.5 to me is good. Like I said, I could bump this. I'm gonna re-listen to some of these tracks. These tracks are gonna hit the iPod for sure. Again, like I said, the first track is a really good intro. Great, and to me, like I said, the kids to me are a cool aspect to the song. That first 10 seconds where the kids are chanting, "Here comes the landlord," like that shit is cool to me. It freaks him out. So you might want to think about what your audience is, which I'm assuming the audience is more like not him.
Not him. I mean, some people don't fuck with the children of the corn type.
No, man. Just there's some superstitious niggas out here. There are gonna be some hood niggas that be like, that's creepy. Nigga. Again, you got to think about that type of stuff. But again, it was cool to me.
No, but the song overall was good. I don't know.
But again, great intro. Very greatly produced. Like I said, this is good quality to me. Where you at with your number, Wicked, on this?
I was actually going to go with 3.5 too.
3.5.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. So.
Like I said, it's not. Like I said, there's some points where it's repetitive. The reason why I don't think it gets to that 4 range is there's a lot of repetitive repetitive subject matter. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of the same subject matter. Shooting up here, how big is my gun? I got the Draco. It's all that stuff. He does it in a more lyrical fashion than some of the other trap artists out. That's why I think it is a 3.5. Like this is lyrically better. And again, he's conscious of the problem. Even though he's not out here trying to be introspective about it, he knows yo, you can get 20 years for what I'm doing out here. And he explains that at some points. And I respect that. He's still talking about his life though, and his life is what his life is. I think there's even a point, and I don't know the track, but there's even a track where he says yo, if I get big on this, we still gonna be out here doing this, which I think is a destructive. I always tell them, if you make it to the point where they're giving you checks, there's no reason to be selling drugs out there. Or whatever you're selling. If it could be guns, drugs, whatever, but there's no reason to be out here on that life. Ask Michael Vick. Seriously.
Yeah.
Saying that, we're gonna wrap out the rap jury today. I do, and for sure, know one album for next week's reviews that are going to happen. Love is Rage 2, Little Uzi Vert is going to be reviewed next week. We're gonna figure out the other 2 albums probably a little later on in this show, if not tomorrow. But I can tell you, Love is Rage 2 will be here, full blown review. Me, James, Malachi's even gonna get a couple tracks in before we do the review because he's not gonna. This is gonna be big. Like I said, this is again the.
Like 2 songs right now. I won't go any further with it. But right now, I played 2 I like.
The most highly anticipated, let's say, under 25 club of the hip hop world. Even though Kendrick might be younger than 25, but I'm gonna call him.
But under 25.
He thought. All right, so yeah, for the new band of artists that are trap or whatever you want to call them, or mumble rappers, Little Uzi Vert to me seems like the leader. He's the leader. I consider him because I don't consider Migos and Travis Scott and them in the same full-blown lane. When I look at Lil Yachty, XX and them, Famous Dex, I think about Little Uzi Vert as the.
What about 21 Savage part of that?
I told y'all before I don't consider 21 Savage part of that.
30. Kendrick.
Okay. Actually, I got to remember that I was listening to Kendrick in 05, so that does make sense. He was in K-Dot at that point, but yeah. But no, like I said, I would 21 Savage to me is they put him in that group, but after listening to his album, I just think it's just unlyrical music. It's not unlegible music.
Yeah. How about, and then you have Kodak, and then you have Yachty.
Oh no, Kodak's still part of it. And Yanni's like is like the joker of the group.
So you still feel like Vert's the number one
for how people talk and how like there were people out here threatening Lil Yachty and Lil Uzi Vert's life because he wasn't dropping the album soon enough. That's how I don't get. This isn't like I don't care about most of these people's music. I'm just saying from the perception that I get from the outside, y'all be dick riding Lil Uzi Vert more than any of the other ones, and that's why I call him the king of y'all little groups. Again, I'm going to be interested in seeing what that is. We're going to be back in a second to give y'all that last hour of the unfiltered. Sorry, y'all. I just stuttering a little bit today. But yeah, we're going to give y'all the last hour of the unfiltered, get y'all with this news of the city, a little bit more of the McGregor talk. We're going to talk about that last preseason game too, y'all. Your boy saw that up and live. I can tell you now that T.Y. Hilton is shorter than me. That kind of shocked me. Found that out this weekend. T.Y. Hilton was the number 2 wide receiver in the NFL last year in yards.
Really?
Yeah. Y'all gotta check some of that stuff out because we automatically assume some people did certain things and we forget people miss games. T.Y. Hilton didn't really miss any games. But yeah, like I said, it was a Colts Steelers preseason game this weekend. There was a couple other decent preseason games, and I heard the Pirates are getting their ass kicked up and down for the last couple of weeks. So we're gonna talk about that in the next hour or so. So to be right back on GMOY Radio, this is the Rap Jury with Jay, Skyline, and James. Be back in a couple songs.